Okay, ready? Yeah. Hey, what's up? My name is Jam, and I'm here to talk about the Mommy Club. This is episode 5. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, support a bitch.
Support me, bitch!
So it started off at Happy's house. Happy's not around. Happy's in Lagos. Remember, she went to see her ex-boyfriend. So Happy's in Lagos. The daughters, Titi, the firstborn, Tirelo, the secondborn, and then Ara, the lastborn, who's 2 years old, and then Nani Shalom. So, of course, they talk about homework, school, and all sorts of things. And then apparently it's the stepdad's birthday. And Titi said that he was really excited to turn 40. Unfortunately, she happened. But he was really excited to turn 40. So Cirello had already talked to the nanny. So the nanny had bought cake and flowers. So she brought them over and his picture. And they started singing happy birthday. Of course, Cirello, because she was really close to her dad. That's her biological dad. So she was really close. They were really best friends. Of course, she says, we love you. We miss you, dad. They're trying to tell Ara, who's 2 years old, to say we love you or sing happy birthday, but she was singing happy birthday. I think she was so excited about the cake. So Titi in the confessionals was asked, how do you feel? And she was like, I don't feel anything, to be honest. I do not feel anything. And then she continued to say that she's kind of glad that Ara, the 2-year-old, will not experience her father. And I was like, why? And then she said, because she would not want Ara to see her father beating up her mother. So the husband used to beat up Happy. So this man used to sleep around, and also this man was abusive, physically abusive. And I can imagine mentally abusive also. So that's why even I wasn't pissed at Happy being in Lagos. Like she really does not owe this man any kind of loyalty. So, and when I guess Titi has seen a lot. Titi has seen a lot, and I also don't think Titi and this guy had a relationship at all. But she said it last week anyways. Last week's episode, they didn't have a relationship. It was hi. So imagine she also witnessed the stepdad beating up her mother. Ayo, Titi, I know Titi hates that man. Hated that man. Titi did hate that man. But she also said she also does feel bad because that's her dad, and her dad has passed away. But she said she's happy that she won't experience, or she won't get to see her dad beating up her mom. Yeah, sure. Titi does need a lot of therapy. So the next thing is Miss Manchi's heading over to Nurai's house. I swear Miss Manchi's getting on my nerves. Like, I have to deal with Mrs. Mops and her fake voice. Because I know Mrs. Mops, that's not how Mrs. Mops used to talk back in the day. I'm pretty sure she just acquired that eventually. But I know that's not how she... But I already got used to Mrs. Mops in Real Houses of Joburg. So when she came to Mommy Club, I was like, cool, this is how Mrs. Mop talks, fine. Now I have to deal with Miss Manchi. And you can just tell Miss Manchi is faking it. She's really faking it. She came in, she looked nice. I'm not saying she didn't. She looked really nice. Like, I'm in a biker jacket. I'm looking very chic. And then she enters the house and she sees Nunurai. Nunurai is giving me Beyonce in her Ivy pack. Yes, honey. Like, I get it. We consume a lot of Western culture. But hi, Miss Manchi comes off fake. It really does. Anyway, she comes in. They talk about the dinner, last week's dinner. And she's like telling Nunurai, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus. Happy kept asking me, what's up? Who told you? Nunurai wasn't really pissed at Miss Manchi. She really wasn't. And Nunurai said that Happy understands her and Happy's not mad at her. And Happy's not mad at her. So Nunurai decided to call Happy. It's like, hi, because I think she wanted to invite her to brunch or lunch. So she's calling Happy, and Happy's like, oh man, I'm not even in SA, I'm still in Lagos, I missed my flight. And she's like, oh, okay, it's fine, but I do have exciting news, let me send it to WhatsApp. When I tell you, Miss Manchi was eager, so eager, because the message didn't come. Like, it took a while before the message came. So Miss Manchi was telling me, right, just text and tell her to send it, babes. Ask her again. And then the message came. The message came. Happy is engaged. Happy is engaged. Happy is getting married. She sent a whole video, pictures and everything. Happy is engaged. Miss Manshi was super excited. She was too excited for me. I didn't understand her excitement. Like, she even, when she was sending a voice note, she was crying. She was sending love, just nice positive things to Happy. She was too excited for me. Happy getting married is a bit too fast. She does not owe any loyalty to that late husband of hers. She does not. But she owes loyalty to her daughters. Because when she got married the first time, she kind of ignored Titi. And Titi had to grow up with a stepdad who didn't really like her because they didn't have a relationship. So now you're bringing another man into your daughter's lives. They won't have a relationship with this man because you choose the man before you choose your kids. So Happy, you getting married is too fast, number one. I don't even think you should be dating for a minute. Because I think Happy is those women that when they love 100%. They give them all and forget anybody else. So she's forgetting her 3 daughters. The way she forgot Titi when she got married to her late husband. And that's why Titi's so messed up right now. And she needs therapy. So Happy getting married, Happy, when Happy said, Happy in the confession was like, yes, I'm getting married. If it ends in tears, please comfort me. Well, I'm glad she's preparing herself though. For her to say if it ends in tears, comfort her, I'm glad she's really preparing herself mentally. The 4 Pipes event. This 4 Pipes event was such a fail. It was such a fail. So before they get to the event, they first showed Nunurai dressing up. She's like, I don't even know what to wear since we're going to Tembisa. And every time I think about Tembisa, I think about that series, The Queen. I think about that series. I just started watching it, but I was on a 1-month break because I was at the part where they just killed Shaka. So I was like pissed. I didn't watch it for a month. I just started watching it right now. So I just think of the Queen. So she's like, we're going to Tembisa. Okay, it's a 4 Pipes event. What should I wear? Anyway, she ended up wearing some Versace and some boots. And then they went downstairs because they were upstairs. They went downstairs and she's holding Zidane and talking to her nanny. And telling her nanny, listen, I'm going to Tembisa. We're going to have some shisanyama. In Kenya, it's nyama choma. And all this. And when she wanted to leave, Zidane started crying. One thing I've noticed with Nunurai, she's really close to Zidane. Anytime they're filming in the house, Zidane is always with her. Like, you'll not see the babies with the nannies. Like, yes, okay, she has 1 child. You'll not see the baby with the nanny. Yes, the nanny will come and pick the child up, but most of the times you'll see that she's interacting with Zidane, which I love. So of course Zidane was crying. He even gave the cameras a side eye, like, my mom is left just because of you guys. The slow motion walk Nunurai got when she was leaving the house. I love her body. I really think she's a beautiful woman. Nunurai is so gorgeous to me. I still hate her wigs, but Nunurai is so gorgeous to me. She really is. So Nunurai left. Who arrived first? Of course, Ratile arrived first. Remember, this is Ratile's event. She arrived first. Of course, she was driving a Ferrari. I thought they were really going to somewhere. Okay, wait first. She arrives and she goes upstairs. They didn't show us anything at first. And then Mrs. Mops came. Mrs. Mops said she was expecting a convoy, cars spinning. And then she's like, I'm at the mall. I'm at Tembisa Mall. She was disappointed. So was Miss Manshi. Miss Manshi said, am I lost? Because I wasn't expecting to be at the mall. Am I lost? Miss Manshi was also disappointed. Nunurai also. I think the ladies, when they had shisanyama and 4 Pipes, they were I also was expecting like a crowd, cars, doing any kind of activity. And then the smell of meat, but she didn't say posh. She did say posh. She did say posh. But you say Tembisa. And according to them, Tembisa is a township. Even according to the Queen, Tembisa is a township. You say Tembisa. So it can't be posh in Tembisa. But I guess to her, she meant the mall in Tembisa. Anyway, they all went upstairs. Ratile had come with her friend Tsego, the one who last week they had a pointless meetup. And all the ladies like, introduce us. And Tsego introduced herself. And then she said, they were like, how'd you guys meet up? It was a business thing. And then Tsego started telling the story of that they said last week about her not coming to, about Ratile not coming to her event, even though Ratile helped organize the event. Even the other ladies were like, you bring a friend and that's what she talks about? Like, that was very unnecessary. I don't know what they were trying to do there. I don't know if they're trying to get this girl to the show by bringing this drama, but it's just BS. And it looks fake and rehearsed. It does. Anyway, Ratile ordered a platter for 5, of course, the pap and shisanyama. So for us, we call it ugali and nyama choma. And she ordered some drinks, and then Nunurai was like, she's not ordering champagne, so let me just order the champagne. She ordered champagne. Nunurai ordered the champagne. The food came. The only person who did justice to that meat, okay, the 2 people, but Nunurai did way more justice. Nunurai and Ratile were using, they were using their hands. Take the ugali and the nyama choma. The other ladies, knife and fork. Knife and fork. What's her name? Mrs. Mops were like, because Nunurai was sitting next to Mrs. Mops, so Mrs. was like, Nunurai is eating, because Nunurai was digging in. Rachel was like, I'm really glad you're enjoying the experience. And I think she was also enjoying the experience because she's Zimbabwean and she's not South African. And she's like, I have never tasted this salsa. I love this salsa. It is so nice. When I tell you, Nunurai was eating. She was eating. It got its time to pay. And I think it was Miss Mashi. Miss Mashi said, let's try this new trend where you put the cards in the basket and the one that's picked, that's the one that pays. I feel like Ratile should have insisted. Ratile said, no, it's on me, and that's it. I feel like Ratile should have insisted because you are the one who invited the ladies over. You should have insisted to pay. Mrs. Mouse took the basket and then she started putting the cards, and Nunura was like, I don't have a South African bank account. Like, no, put your card. She ended up putting her card. And then guess what? The waitress chose Nunurai's card. So this is another point that Ratile should have said, no, it's on me. I invited you ladies here. This was my event. It was not a good event, but I still invited you here, so I should pay. Why should Nunurai pay? And you're the one who invited her. Yeah, so I didn't like that. So for that event, I'm giving her a 2 out of 10. Nunurai gave her 7 out of 10, but no, I'm giving her a 2 out of 10. It should have been cars, loud, nyama choma everywhere, the smell everywhere, dogs barking. Like Mrs. Mob said, I wanted to hear some dogs barking, a car wash somewhere. Like, it should have been a proper Tembisa Shisanyama. But you failed there. To me anyway, you failed. This was another pointless scene. Mrs. Mobs, Nunurai, and Miss Manshi. So they're all driving their cars separately, right? So they have a conference call, and they're talking. And of course, Miss Manshi is like, "Oh, you remember we wanted to tell you something about Happy?" And then Nunurai opens her big mouth again and says, "Yo, Happy's getting married." Mrs. Mobs already knew, but she didn't show them that she knows. She didn't even tell them that she knows. She was like, oh my God, that's great news, But Mrs. Mobs also said, oh my God, it's too soon. Mrs. Mobs said that it's too soon, and it's true, it's too soon. And they also talked about the Shisanyama event, and Mrs. Mobs just said, listen, you guys, we had Shisanyama at the mall, make peace with it. Kalas. Mrs. Mobs was with her nanny, Manshi, and then Manshi came with her cousin, sister, Palesa. So they say that they're bringing the ladies to a spa, the nanny, Manshi, and Palesa, for a spa date, right? There's something that Palesa said, and I'm telling you guys, there's something wrong with Palesa and Miss Manshi. That situation is not Right. Palesa said, this is the first time I'm going to the spa. I am pretty sure Miss Manshi does spas, if not weekly, at least twice, or I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure she does spas a lot. So for your cousin, to say this is the first time she's getting a spa treatment, I don't know. There's just something wrong. There's just something wrong. And I'm pretty sure the only reason you got this spa treatment is because of the cameras. If it wasn't for the cameras, you would not get this spa treatment. So Nani Manshi and Palesa, they were going to get a massage. And then Mrs. Mops and Miss Manshi went to get a mani-pedi. When they got to the massage room, Nani Manshi and Palesa, they're like, hang your robes, you're going to be naked under this blanket. And Nani Manshi's like, eesh, no, I'm uncomfortable with that. Like, I don't want to be naked under this, whatever. But anyway, eventually she did, and they did get their massages. And Mrs. Mops and Miss Manshi talked about their kids, and of course they talked about Happy. Like, Happy was in every conversation this whole episode. And remember, this whole time, Happy has not even come. Happy was only talking in the confessionals. Happy hasn't even filmed the scene this whole episode. But Happy is the topic of conversation. Like, these ladies have decided we're not talking about our lives. If we talk about our lives, it's like, let's just kidogo, just a small thing, and then let's switch it to Happy. Because Happy has more content. And that's better for us not to talk about our lives. So we'll never see their lives. We'll never see their real lives as long as Happy has so much to give. One thing Miss Manshi said is that the few times she's been meeting with Mrs. Mops has been good with her. But of late, Mrs. Mops has been cold. Like, can you blame her? You threw a drink at her. And then you brought up the same incident after she thought you guys were cool. You brought up the same incident in front of other ladies. So I don't think Mrs. Mops trusts you like that. I don't think so. So Ratile and Mrs. Mops meet up. Mrs. Mops said that she wants to get to know Ratile a bit better because she feels like Ratile is closed off. When Ratile arrives, she's also, I want to get to know Mrs. Mops. In her confessional, she was asked, so what do you think of Mrs. Mops? She's like, I don't know. I can't figure her out yet. So I'm guessing they both think the same. Like, this one thinks you're closed off, this one thinks you're also kind of closed off because I can figure you out. So they think the same. Of course, they sit down and Mrs. Mop lied and said, oh, the shisanyama was really nice. We know she didn't love it, but she said she doesn't want to be rude. So that's why she said that. And then Rachile asked her, so how's your friendship with Miss Manshi? She seems like a really good girl. I think she wanted Mrs. Mops to say something horrible so that she can say it. But when Mrs. Mops played it off like, she's a good girl, she's a good chick, Rachile also was like, yeah, she's a good chick. But I met her at the salon. Now this is Rachile. I met Miss Manshi at the salon, and imagine her asking me, can we bring our watches to Tembisa? Can we wear our Rolex to Tembisa? And then they said, what did they say? They said Miss Manshi's from, I don't know, I guess Miss Manshi's from the ghetto or the hood or whatever. Lokshen, township. That's where Miss Manshi's from. So Ratila was like, why are you asking me that? And that's where you're from. Like, can you bring your watch here? I hate people who act like that. You can say it in a jokingly manner, but I guess Miss Manshi was really asking, can I come with this? Can I come with this? Even Mrs. Moss was like, oh my God, am I scared? I'm scared. And you are from the hood. So they laughed about that. And then Ratile went off to talk about Happy. Like I said, Happy was a topic of conversation. She said that she feels like Happy is a cloud chaser. And Mrs. Moss was like, what? What do you mean? One thing I've learned with Mrs. Mob, she knows how to play like she doesn't know nothing. She doesn't know nothing, but she knows everything. Why is she a cloud chaser? Rachile explains. I don't know if she told you, but she told me, and she told me not to even tell anybody, that she was almost trafficked by this guy called Tabo Besta. At first I was like, that name sounds familiar. And then it's like, oh, that's the guy who was caught in Tanzania, who had escaped jail. and faked that he died. Yeah, that's the guy. So I Googled and like, yeah, that's the guy. So apparently Happy told Ratile that she was almost trafficked by this guy. And she told Ratile not to tell anyone. And then Mrs. Mobs was like, oh, no, I know that story also. She's told us, right? And then, so Ratile was like, oh, so she's told everybody. But the thing that was pissing off Ratile is now she's seeing it on the news, on the blogs, everywhere. And she says the same video that is going around the blogs is the same video that Happy sent her. So Mrs. Mobs was like, so you think she leaked it? No, and Rashida was like, I don't think she leaked it. I know she leaked it. Because her saying a friend leaked the video. Who's this friend? You are the one with the video. So who's this friend who's leaking the video? Do I think Happy is a cloud chaser? No. But I do think Happy loves the attention. Happy loves the spotlight. They do love the spotlight. Why? You're on a reality show, so you do love the spotlight. Others more than others. So I think Happy does love the spotlight. I don't think she's a cloud chaser though. I think she does love the spotlight. Like if anything can connect her or link her to something that's major, she'll make sure that she's there. I don't think she looks for it, but I think she does love the spotlight. So Ratile is kind of pissed and saying like she's cloud chasing. So she sent the video to the blogs and she said all this and all that. So she's cloud chasing. Mrs. Mobs is not happy about the cloud chaser word, and also Mrs. Mobs is not happy because she's like, Happy is the one who introduced you to this group, and now you're talking BS about her. You could have at least talked to Happy first before you coming to tell me. But I guess Ratile wanted to vibe with Mrs. Mobs, and she decided, let me just open up and talk about something that's not about me, but it's about Happy. Like I said, these girls will not talk about themselves. They'll not talk about what's going on in their lives, but they'll talk about Happy. But Mrs. Mobs said that she will tell Happy about this. Ratile said she knows Mrs. Mobs will talk to Happy, but it doesn't bother her at all. They talk about Happy getting married. Of course, Mrs. Mobs is still saying it's too soon, and she hopes that this is not someone who's trying to, swindle her, because according to how Happy talks, it's like she has a lot of money, and like her ex-husband, the way he was like, if I call my wife, she'll just send me 50K right now. So when Mrs. Mobs said that, I was thinking maybe this is why men are attracted to her. She's a beautiful woman. I'm not saying that men are not attracted to her. She's a beautiful woman, but you almost got trafficked by Tabo Besta. That means you have so much money. That's number one. And then now you got engaged to this Nigerian guy. We're just saying. Ratile said that she is an oversharer, that Happy is an oversharer. She is. We can clearly see, because she is telling us everything about her life. She is an oversharer, and I hope she's just careful. That's what Ratile said. The next scene is Happy. She's back in South Africa. She was looking nice in that blue dress. She was. So she was meeting up with Mrs. Mobs. And then Mrs. Mobs came, they said their hellos. And then Mrs. Mobs knows how to pretend she doesn't know anything. Mrs. Mobs was like, oh my God, how have you been? Ooh, that thing is blinding. The ring. And she's like, yes, can I see? Oh, congratulations. You see? No, so now she pretended like she didn't know nothing. Like she just saw it and that's it. Mrs. Mobs is very smart. Anyway, she has done reality show before, so she knows how to play the cameras and she knows how to play the other ladies since they haven't done reality show before. Of course, they talk about her going to Nigeria, and then she's like, "Oh, we missed you," and Happy told her, "I missed you guys too." And then the confession, like, when I was in Nigeria, I didn't miss them. I was with my man. How would I miss them? And I was with my man. And then they talk about Ratile's shisanyama event. Of course, Mrs. Mob told her, listen, it was at the mall. And she was like, I'm glad I missed it. And then she was like, in the confession, like, what do you expect from that doll? Ratile. What do you expect from that doll? She's a snob. So I'm guessing Happy is not feeling Ratile also. She said she's glad she missed it. She said that she's glad she missed it. Miss Mob just laughed it off. They get to the cloud chasing part. So Mrs. Mops tells Happy, listen, someone said you're a cloud chaser. She immediately got mad. She was really pissed off. She's like, who is disrespecting me? Who is full of shit like this? Who is saying this? And even Mrs. Mops was like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said anything. Because she was already, and Happy was already pissed off. And she told it was Ratili. So we were out lunch and it's about that Tabo Besta thingy. You were almost a victim. And Ratili was like, you leaked it to the press, to the blogs. This was Happy's explanation. I went to the newspaper to tell them, for them to be aware there's someone like this. I gave out the information even before this story had come out. So she was like, she was trying to prove to Mrs. Mops with showing her DM saying it was the 18th of March and all this. So she was giving the info. She gave the information before like it blew up. So when it blew up, she had already sent the videos of her. They actually showed the video of Tabo Besta and Happy. So I don't know how she was almost his victim, but yeah, they showed that video. But Mrs. Mom says, so you did leak the video. But she's explaining, I gave the newspaper the video because they asked me my story. Of course, they wanted proof. So you're saying you are almost trafficked. Where's the proof? So she gave them the proof. She gave them the video and all this and all this. So for her, she said she didn't leak it. She gave it to the newspaper. It wasn't like it was leaked or anything. Like it wasn't a secret. She gave it to the newspaper. That's her explanation. For me, if something like that happens, I think I would have gone to the police station first before going to the newspaper. But that's me. But what Happy showed kind of made sense. Like, forget that I would go to the whatever to, like I said, Happy does love the spotlight. So when she was showing, she was showing legit things, like the video with her and Tabo Besta, the Emirates ticket. What else? The message of that guy saying you're going to get this amount of money if you're going to be here for like a year and all this, like that. Whatever she was showing, it was true. And she said she had to send all that as proof so that the newspaper believes her and all this. So she's not cloud chasing. That she won the spotlight? Yes, but she's not cloud chasing. Anyway, she was really, really pissed and really, really angry. She was pissed to a point she started to cry. She said that Ratile is really disrespecting her. And for the fact that she brought Ratile into the group and then Ratile started talking about her behind her back. I feel like Ratile should have talked to Happy first, like, yo, why you cloud chasing? Just ask me, why you cloud chasing? But for Ratile to go and tell Mrs. Mobbs first, that was wrong. That was really wrong. She said Google recognizes me, YouTube recognizes me. Like, what? Our Happy is a bit delusional sometimes, but I understand why she was angry. What else did she say? She said, Ratile, you also cloud chasing because you're Miss South Africa. All these ladies love the spotlight. The fact that you're on a reality show means you love the spotlight. So don't act like a little bit of attention pisses you off. A little bit of attention pisses you off. And then don't act like someone else when they're getting attention. They're just being a cloud chaser. Like, I feel like cloud chasing is different. Cloud chasing is when you lie about something in your life so that you can get, if you're releasing a song, you can get views. If you're releasing a project, you can get, I feel like that's what cloud chasing, when you're lying about something. But for Happy, she wasn't lying. She was telling the truth. And she was just giving the newspaper stuff. And she ended up being in the spotlight, fine, but she was telling the truth. She wasn't lying. So I don't feel she's a cloud chaser. If she was lying, saying, oh, I also was almost a victim of Tabo Besta with no proof, then that's cloud chasing. But she wasn't cloud chasing. She was really pissed. She started to cry. Mrs. Mobbs told her, like, you have to talk to Ratile on your own. And she's like, it's cool, I'm going to talk to her. But she was pissed the F off. That's my recap for today. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.